Michelle, are you in? Oh, nice. Yes. We
Hello.
got this going. I
Yeah,
can't believe this is
we
that.
do. Yeah, we do.
Michelle Barnes.
What is up, Mr. Azimi?
Thank you so much for your time. Let me run a real quick introduction. Okay.
Right.
Can you hear me okay?
What's that?
You can hear me okay, right?
Yeah, I'm going to turn my volume up. I think we're good.
Hello, hello. Hi, folks. Welcome. Happy Thursday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. I am Sean Azimi with SideGigSean.com, where I help you look, start, and grow your side business. I am so excited to have my mentor. I can call her my friend. That's how amazing she is. But before I get into that, this is Thursdays with Sean. Now, you may know my guest. You may have seen her, and you may have seen how amazing she is. But this is the live where I showcase the stories. I believe that you see the glory, but you don't really know the story. Sure. So this is where we're gonna break down the story. And before I get into the questions, Michelle, let me give a background on you. If I were to give a real background, it would take the whole show plus some. But then we don't have all that time. I have known Michelle since 2008. And I know it's been that long, right? But we really connected 2014. We'll get into that. But Michelle is been in the industry for a mighty long time, over 20 years, has made multi-million dollars in the profession, single provider for 2 boys, all on her own. I mean, this gal is seriously a superstar. She was recognized as one of the top 100 most powerful women in direct sales by Eric Worre. So I am so honored to have you, Michelle, on the show. Welcome.
Thank you, Sean. Oh my gosh. Like, can you believe we've known each other since 2008? That's when my son was born. My oldest son is 15.
No way.
So yeah, he was born in July of 2008. So that now I'll always remember that.
I remember the time. Oops! I remember the time that you were on stage pregnant.
Yeah. Well, that I think was even with Cole. That was with my second one.
Yeah, that was when was that?
Was that when Dr. Oz brought me up on stage? Yeah, that was Cole.
Yeah. So let's get into these questions. I have so many questions, but I'm gonna pick and choose.
Okay.
So some of the ones that
let's have some fun. I'm excited.
Yeah. So before we get into the real deal, tell the audience a little bit about Michelle Barnes. Some people may not know who Michelle Barnes is and how amazing you are. So maybe give a background.
Yeah, well, Sean, thanks for having me. First and foremost, you're amazing, and I just think the world of you. And we've had the conversation where, from the minute I still remember it like it was yesterday, where we were standing on the side. There was a big event going on, and we were standing over on the side by the wall, and we were chatting. And I don't even think you were in my team at that point, but I was just like, man, this guy's got it. This guy's got it going on. And like, this guy could crush this business. So I'm proud of you. I'm proud of everything you are, everything you're becoming, all of the things you're doing, and just how intentional you're being about really making a difference in not just your life, but other people's lives as well. So thank you for that. Okay, so I'm going to give you the Cliff Notes version because I've been in the profession for 28 years. Actually, this month is my 28-year anniversary. I think I need to stop saying that because it makes me sound really old. Okay. But I, probably like a lot of your listeners, Sean, I was told to go to school, get good grades, go to college, that was the key to success. I bought that hook, line, and sinker. I was the first person in my family to go to college. I went to CU Boulder, go Buffs, Coach Prime. So I'm just a little excited about the Buffs right now. So anyway, went to CU, got a sociology criminology degree, went to law school out in LA for 1 year, hated it, was working with some miserable attorneys. They were making great money, but they were probably the most miserable humans I've ever met in my life. And I looked at their lives and I thought, man, that's going to be me in 20 years. And honestly, it scared the bejesus out of me, you know, because I was like, I knew since birth that I wanted to be a mom. And I was the only female in the law firm. And I thought, man, like, how am I going to be the kind of mom I want to be someday and be the kind of businesswoman I want to be now and someday? And so I quit law school to do network marketing. And I honestly, when I first saw network marketing, I almost walked out of my first meeting. I was the skeptical type. I was just like, oh God, you know, here we go again, another one of these deals. I've seen these things before. Almost walked out of my first meeting. That no would have cost me millions. So I'm so glad I did not say no. And you know, I really thought, man, if I could just make an extra $500 a month, maybe an extra $1,000 a month, you know, start chiseling away at this mound of debt. I was $80,000 in debt. So I thought, man, if I can just start, you know, kind of throwing $1,000 at this $80,000 mound of debt per month, that would be awesome, you know? And I was already like into health and nutrition and fitness and wellness and things like that. That all made sense to me already. And so, yeah, I got started. But I fell in love with this business. I fell in love with helping people's health, helping people's financial situation. And then, Sean, eventually I fell in love with teaching people how to think differently. And that is where I found my true calling, is teaching people how to get their mind right. And I'm still a work in progress. I'm still working at getting my mind right every single day. But I, you know,
You're not alone.
What's that?
You're not alone.
Oh, I don't think, yeah, no, definitely not. But you know, I accidentally made 102,000 my first year.
I love
and
that. I love that word, accidentally.
Yeah. You know,
yeah.
I didn't even understand the comp plan, Sean. Like I asked them, I didn't understand the comp plan, nor did I care. I literally said, what are the driving behaviors that I need to do to get to six figures? So what are the things that I need to do on a daily basis that are going to really move the needle, that are going to allow me to make six figures? And
with that, I'd like to take you back to that first night, actually, that you signed up.
Okay.
I'll take you back to that first night that you signed up. Take us through that first month. What do you think was like your biggest challenge that first month in the profession? 28 years.
Trying to reinvent the wheel. You know, like my first month, I would say that I would say I'm a very coachable person, but I don't think I was very coachable that first month, only because I am like a red personality type. I'm A type, you know, I'm firstborn, little bossy, you know, so I was just like, oh, I got this. Like, I can freaking talk to my own people. I can do, you know, I got this. And I really didn't leverage my upline leaders. I didn't leverage the people that were around me in the beginning to really, truly see success. Like, I had no success. So why would they listen to me? But I was like, oh, but I just went, you know, I went to college and law school. So that's why they would listen to me. But I had no success in network marketing. So why I thought they would listen to me. And, you know, my friends saw me partying at CU doing beer bongs, you know, so they weren't going to listen to me with like, oh, now I'm top businesswoman, you know? So
that makes sense.
Once I learned how to get myself out of the way and really I became a body dragger. So I just started putting people in front of people who were better than I was. And that's the thing, is like, I realized, wow, they know more than I do. I know people they don't know. They know what to say to them. If we merge our energies, we can be immensely successful together. So
I love that. Okay. I love that, actually. So that will take us to today, 28 years after. So what do you think, as somebody who's done it all, seen it all, probably, what would you say your number one challenge is today?
I I'm very ADD, ADHD. And so for me, I think the biggest challenge is staying focused with all the noise, you know. There's so much noise out there right now, especially in our profession. You know, there's this course and that training and this social media platform and that one and I know that when I try to like do it all, I accomplish nothing. But when I really put blinders on and I just become like laser, like maniacally, like focused on like one thing, like, you know, whether it's ATM, you know, like we created the ATM system, add tag message. So it's like, if I just focus on ATMing and I'm adding people, I'm asking people, I'm inviting people, I'm doing the income producing activities, IPAs, I'm doing my DMO, my daily method of operation. And, you know, being a single mom with 2 kids and a new puppy and, you know, 2 kids at different schools playing different sports and different friends. And like, my life is freaking nuts, Sean, you know, I mean, like, it's crazyville. People are always like, oh, I wish I could come just spend a day and like a day in the life of Michelle. I'm like, oh, no, you don't. Like, it's a shit show. You know, but it's a fun shit show. And I've created to where, you know, like when you have time freedom and money freedom, like life is just better, even if you're busy and even if you're, you know, spinning a lot of plates and you're juggling a lot of balls, you know, in this thing called life. It's just better when you know that what you're doing is making a difference. And when you get the freaking money part out of the way, get the time part out of the way. You know what I mean? I mean, it is crazy, but so I would say just that shiny object syndrome, like, oh my God, or the comparison thing. I think, you know, like, oh, they're doing this and maybe I should be doing that, or maybe I should be doing this and, you know, whatever.
And
so,
the reason why
go ahead, honey, go ahead.
And the reason why I asked that is because, you know, I wanted to showcase that the challenges change.
Yeah.
Right, your challenge the first month in the business is trying to just hey, how can I do this? Let me get this. Let me get some money going. Let me get some people in. Right, and 28 years after, that's not even a case. You're running the show. You're doing the trainings, but the challenge now is upgraded. Right, the challenge is a whole new challenge because of the journey you've gone through.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. You know, I always say new levels, new devils, right?
New levels,
I mean,
new devils.
it's all relative. So
right.
The challenges are never going to go away. They're just going to be different. And, you know, it's never really what happens to us or what challenges we go through. It's how we respond to them. And so I've learned over 28 years through the personal development to become bigger than my problems, you know, and when you become bigger than your problems and when you take what I call APR, absolute personal responsibility for where you are or aren't in your life, like everything changes when you take 100% responsibility.
And it's interesting you bring that up because, you know, some of us on the outside, we see the top earners, we see the speakers on the stage, and we see them recruiting and doing this phenomenal things, and we feel maybe sometimes we think, oh, you know what, they got it going on, they got no problems, no issues, you know, they got no issues, they didn't go through all this, they didn't have this, they didn't have that. So if you like to touch, I know your story is pretty deep, but whatever you like to touch between these 28 years, the challenges that life threw at you, but you still kept going, and here you are as one of the top, you know, 100 women in the world. So if you want to throw some of those real life, like, you know, challenges that you had to go through.
Yeah, absolutely, Sean. I think, you know, I'm not the best. In the past, I have not been the best at being vulnerable because I've always been taught that being vulnerable is a sign of weakness. And I'm actually realizing more and more that it's a sign of strength. And, you know, I could write.
Can I tell you, I'm sorry, can I tell you, I saw you on Ray Higdon's event and it was, come on. Like, oh, like, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
No, it was such an honor to speak at that event. And I do think, you know, that it's easy to look at the top people in any profession, in even just in any business, any profession, and just people around and be like, oh, they have it so easy. Their life is
Oh, yeah.
easier than mine. Their life is better than mine. They don't, it's easy to think that those people don't have, problems. Well,
Right.
we have problems. I don't even like calling them problems. I like to call them challenges because, we all have challenges, but it's never what happens to us. It's how we respond to what happens. The event plus our response equals the outcome, so whatever event there is, plus our response is what's going to determine the outcome. And so again, we just have to become bigger than our problems. And, speaking of faith over fear was such a blessing because God is bigger than any of our problems, right? And, I love Steve Jobs' quote that you can never connect the dots looking forward, but you can always connect them looking backward. And so I really do believe like everything that we go through, I believe everything happens for a reason and a purpose. And sometimes when we're in the middle of it, we're like, what the F, right? Trust me, I've been there, and I think it's easy to go into why me, poor me, woe is me, and go into victim mode. And, Sean, my mom was a single mom. She had me when she was 18 years old. She raised me by herself. I mean, we didn't even have furniture when I was little. I grew up in the hood. I grew up in a not so, great area. I got beat up because I had blue eyes. I've had companies go out of business on me. I've had companies get shut down. I've lost, massive income as a single mom, literally like overnight. Like, as we, 8 years ago this month,
Yeah.
I came home from the most powerful women in network marketing on a Sunday, and my entire business was gone on Monday. And I went 2 months without an income. And the beauty is that when you get good at making money and you get good at doing this business, it's okay if you go 2 months without an income. Most people can't go 2 weeks without an income, so I also felt very blessed that I learned the skills on how to become financially free. And I knew I could take those skills. No one could take that away from me. People could take my business away. They could take my income away, but they cannot take the skill set that I've created, that I've built over the last 28 years through grit. And, Sean, I'm scrappy, so I will do whatever it takes, with integrity, obviously, to make sure that my kids are taken care of, my family's taken care of, my team is taken care of. But yeah, I've had companies go out of business. I've had companies get shut down. I became a single mom, and I was always the sole provider, but I became a 100% single mom 15 years ago when my boy's father became addicted to pain pills, and it's been nothing but challenges for 15 years with that. His addiction in the last 3 or 4 years went from bad to worse. So we've been dealing with that for the last 3 or 4 years, and so shit
But
happens.
life isn't perfect,
No,
huh?
no,
For a top earner.
no.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think, the more successful we become, it's almost like the bigger challenges we have sometimes. And, if people want to just exist, like for me, I'm not one to just sit there and just exist. Life's too short. Like you're God's highest form of creation, and so act like it.
Yeah.
And you have so much potential, but honestly, like I had a mentor, not just you, everybody, all of us. I had a mentor that said potential's a fancy word for ain't done shit.
I love it.
And I was like, whoa, like that's kind of harsh, but potential's nothing if you do nothing with it. Right?
True.
You could have I see people all the time in this profession that have all the potential in the world. And I fall in love with people's potential, relationship wise too. So, I've always been that person that I see who someone could be. I see someone's potential. And I am just like, oh my gosh, you know, like this person, you know, and business, personal, friendships, you know, I mean, every relationship, I see someone's potential. But again, it means nothing if they do nothing with it.
Very true. So how do you do it? How do you balance the whole two kids, life challenges, running a massive team, still recruiting, still getting customers, still doing your hair looking beautiful? I mean, like, how do you do all that stuff?
Well, the hair
How do
only
you?
happens like twice a week. No,
Yeah,
it's usually like in a ponytail or like a big massive mess,
yeah,
and you know, unless I have to go live. But you know, I work from home. I'm like, I'm not gonna do my hair every day if I have to work,
yeah.
if I get to work from home. You know, I get asked that a lot, Sean. And you know, I think here's the thing: we all have the same 24 hours in the day. And I remind myself of that too, because sometimes I'll want to be like oh yeah, but I'm a single mom and I got two kids and I don't have as much time, or I don't have as much support, or right? Which is all true, right? It's all true. However, you know, I look at people like Oprah and Beyonce, and there's so many people in the world that are multi gazillionaires, and they have the same 24 hours in the day, and some have kids, some don't, like whatever. But you know, everyone has the same 24 hours in the day, so it's like, what are you doing with those 24 hours? And we don't manage time, we manage our choices.
Mm,
And so when you figure out, I always recommend and tell people, figure out what are the 3 to 5 most important things in your life. Like, what do you, like, if time and money weren't an issue, what would your life look like? Okay. And build out that life, build out that vision of what your life would look like if time and money weren't an issue. And then figure out, okay, now, and then work backwards, right? Begin with the end in mind. So create that vision of what your life would look like if time and money weren't an issue, and then chunk it backwards and say, okay, what do I need to do on a daily basis? Because the years, your days are your life in miniature. So whatever your day looks like, that's what your weeks look like. That's what your months look like. That's what 90 days look like. That's what a year looks like. That's what 5 years look like. And unfortunately, that's why most people, like, if you think about where you were 5 years ago and where you are today, a lot of times people are in the same damn place, you know? Sorry, my puppy has a golf ball in his
oh
clip
my
pen.
goodness, that
So if
puppy,
that is really loud, just tell me.
that puppy
Oh.
though. That's not even
He
funny.
loves this freaking golf ball. And
You can
so
show him off.
if it
Oh my
gets too loud,
God,
tell
he's
me.
so.
Okay.
So what's the name?
Oh,
Finally, sorry. Did you
his
pick a name?
name is Truman.
Truman. Okay.
Which Truman means faithful man, which I was joking on stage
Yeah.
last weekend. I said, probably the most faithful man I've ever had.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until now.
Yeah.
I got to say
That's
until now.
funny.
But yeah, his name is Truman Winston Barnes
Oh
Zajac.
my
He's
God.
very distinguished,
Yeah.
Sean.
I love it.
Yeah. So anyway, what was I saying? Oh, so your day, our life, our days in miniature. So like whatever you want your life to look like, make sure that your days are looking the way you want your life to look. So like, do the thing. Emerson says, do the thing and you shall have the power.
Mm.
So, you know, a lot of times people want the results. They want to make a lot of money. They want to be successful, but they're not willing to do on a daily basis what it takes to make that happen. Or they're not willing to do it on a daily basis consistently enough with the right attitude and with the right posture and with the right mindset. If there's people successful in life, you can be too. You know, you have to truly believe that you're God's highest form of creation. And you have to truly believe that, you know, if they can do it, so can I. I just got to do what they do.
So I love that. So basically, you choose to look at the people who use their 24 hours wisely instead of the people who complain about their 24 hours.
Exactly.
Right? Because you look at Beyonce and Oprah, and I could look at the guy across the street that sits on his couch all day.
Yeah.
Right. So you choose to look at somebody who actually takes advantage, you know, squeezes more out of the day than the day squeezes out of them.
Yeah.
I love that. So let me ask you a question. When was it, at what point in your 28 years would you say, I got to stop saying that because you said that, you got to stop saying that.
I know.
In your time, when, when was it that you knew this was the right, like you are at the right profession, this is the career, you choose it, you chose it correctly? Like, when did you know this, like, you know, like, yes, I'm here.
I knew right away, Sean. I knew when I went to my first 3-day event
Mm,
and I listened to those leaders that were up on stage speaking, that were making, you know, strong 6 and 7 figure incomes a year, and all different backgrounds and all different education levels, all like men, women, black, white. And I realized, wow, like there's, this business does not judge. Like
mm,
there aren't glass ceilings, you know, like I get to decide what I'm worth instead of somebody telling me what I'm worth. You know, I get to decide. And some people might think that's good, some people might think that's bad, you know. But I believe you're going to work hard no matter what you do. So why not work hard building something for yourself instead of building something for someone else?
mm. Yeah, of
I
course.
mean,
Yeah,
for
that
me,
makes sense to me.
like choose your hard, you know, like the 40-year plan is freaking hard. 40 years for 40 plus hours a week for to like still not even be in a good situation financially.
Yeah.
Like that's
So
crazy.
that actually leads me to my next question. What would you, I guess, what would you, piece of advice, or what would you say to somebody who is that sour taste in their mouth about MLM and, you know, the pyramid and, you know, just the whole network marketing, or they've been burnt, or they've never tried it, but they just got that, you know,
Yeah, that's a
what
great
would you say?
question. That's a great question, Sean. I mean, obviously, like I said, when I first was introduced to this profession, I almost walked out of my first meeting.
Yeah.
So I was obviously very skeptical. But I was skeptical of something I knew nothing about. Okay. Once I
Mm,
learned more, and it's an awareness level, right? I mean, you don't know what you don't know. And so for me, the more information I got, the more passionate and excited I got, because I was like, oh my God, like this is legit. I mean, network marketing has created more millionaires than any industry in the world,
truth.
you know? So if this profession's created more millionaires than any industry in the world, like, okay, it's obviously legal, you know?
That's
Hello. Like, ooh, it's created more millionaires than any industry in the world, and they haven't caught us yet. Oh,
yeah.
But here's the thing, there's good and bad in everything. And there are rotten apples that spoil the bunch. Okay.
Mm,
There are companies that are not great. There's leaders that are not great, but that's in anything. Like if you went and worked at Taco Bell right now, there'd probably be good managers, good employees, bad employees, good days, bad days,
great
but
point.
you're making, $15 an hour, so whatever, pick your poison. So the reality is, but then I can tell you honestly, Sean, like I am very understanding of people that are skeptical or have what I call MLM PTSD. Maybe they've tried something like this before. Obviously if they were open enough to try it, they saw something. They saw something that made them go, wow, that would be awesome if I could actually like work from my phone, if I could actually had more time freedom and money freedom, if I could spend more time with my kids, if I could travel more, if I could tithe to the church more, if I could donate more to charities, if I could, go on more vacations, if I could help more people, whatever. They saw that opportunity was there. Maybe they just did not have the right company, the right system, the right leadership, and so my heart goes out to people that have MLM PTSD, because even I had it 8 years ago, and I'd made millions of dollars in the first couple decades doing this business. But when my last company went out of business, I had MLM PTSD. like I was like, damn, like, and I feel like, for the first 20 years, I felt like I was kind of beating my head up against a brick wall, trying to figure out how to get more people winning. And I felt like the funnel was as big at the bottom as it was at the top. Like we were putting them in and they were falling out. We were putting them in and they were falling out. And it's like, and so for me, I wanted more people. I wanted to see more people winning. It was one thing. Okay, great. I was making good money. I'm going to make good money no matter what I do because I'm scrappy. I'm resourceful. I will figure it out and I will do it until, I am successful. There were so many really sharp people that I saw come and go that broke my heart to see people that had the potential that we talked about earlier. They had the talent. They even put the energy and the work into it, but the model was broken. And I feel like we've kind of cracked the code on the model with where I'm at today, with where we're at today. And, when you create a business model where the average person with no influence, no social media background, someone who might suck at recruiting, can come in and, like we've got people making part-time and full-time incomes without recruiting a single soul, And at the end of the day, it's like, who doesn't want to lose a few pounds, get rid of wrinkles, get rid of aches and pains, make a little bit of money from their phone, make a lot of money from their phone and help people, and it's like, and we talk about stuff we love all the time. So we just created a business model where people can get paid twice a day for sharing things they love and they don't have to build a team. Some people just don't want to build a team, or they're not good at building a team.
Yeah. So what would you contribute your success to if you had to pick one thing all throughout and say, you know what, this is what you got to do. This is what I contribute all this to. What would that be?
Work. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Let's be real,
Wait,
like
what?
I'm being really honest right now
You
because
gotta work at this?
Yeah, right. And the reason I say that, Sean, is because I just did a training for our UK team right before I got on this, and I was telling them the same thing. Think people's biggest fault, the people in network marketing that are the most frustrated, they're not getting the results they want. First of all, they haven't made a decision to be successful. Okay, they haven't cut off any alternative. They've got one foot in and one foot out. They're like, well, if it doesn't work, like, oh, I'm in, but if it doesn't work in 30 days, it's like, really? Like, you've been at your job 30 years and you're freaking broke and you didn't quit that shit, So like, why would you give a job 30 years of your life and only want to give a business 30 days? And you'll show up. That's another thing is show up. How are you showing up on a daily basis? And I told my team in the UK, I said, look, if you spent $250,000 to open up a restaurant and you spend $250,000, you open up this restaurant, would you just open it for 2 days every once in a while? Like that would be really stupid,
Yeah.
So no, you're gonna, if the restaurant's not open, you're not making money. And it's amazing to me how many people in network marketing have the close sign on their door.
They're not open for business.
Every single day that goes by that you don't invite somebody to take a look at your products, service, or opportunity, you've just put the close sign on your business.
I so believe that my go-to 3 points are show up, learn something new every day, and move the needle.
Yeah.
Right? Got to move the needle. So I want to wrap this up because I know you have something else planned. 2 more questions, and one is, how would Michelle Barnes want to be remembered? How do you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered as being kind. I don't think there's enough kindness. I'm strong, but I'm kind. I definitely
love, but kind.
There might be a little tough love, right, Sean? There might be tough love there, but it is all 1,000,000% out of my heart, And it is because I see so much potential in people. And, you know, my kids went to a private school for 10 years, and the only rule at the school was to be kind.
Wow.
And imagine if the world operated that way, you know? And like, I want my legacy to be that I cared and I made a difference.
Aw. And you are doing just that. I know you are. Last question, if you wanted to wrap it up and give one last piece of thought, piece of recommendation, advice, if you want the voice to be heard, what would it be?
I'm going to say that again because I just jotted down a couple notes really quick.
If you wanted to, if you wanted to wrap this up and complete this whole thing with a thought, a recommendation, suggestion, if you wanted to give one last thought to wrap everything up, what would that be to the audience?
I would say play all out, be all in. Like, what do you have to lose? Like, you know, what do you have to lose by playing at a level 10 and just being all in? And that doesn't mean work 24/7, you guys. You know, like I said, if you're intentional with your time, you can create wealth in a very small amount of time per day. You know, you know, people are working 8-10 hours a day and they're broke, you know? So give me half that time and be intentional. And we could show you how, whether you want to make a little or a lot, we can teach you how to do it. But make a decision to like live life, you know, and risk looking stupid, you know, and stop giving a crap what other people think, you know. And I'm talking to myself just as much as I am you and your audience, Sean. I mean, you know, there's times we all get caught up on that, like, oh yeah, but if I do this, like, what are people going to think, you know, whatever. And it's so stupid because they don't think, and when they do think, they're only thinking about themselves anyway. So why do you give a crap? And if their opinions, I always say OPO, other people's opinions will either make you or break you. And in the beginning, I definitely I used other people's opinions as fuel, you know, like I was going to prove everybody wrong that told me I was crazy for doing this, you know. And then it gets to the point where you don't have to prove anybody wrong, you know.
Right. And I love that. I love that point. And that's a great point to wrap everything up. I do want to point this out. I see people throwing comments, but I can't read them because the phone is sideways. And that's the reason why I'm not shouting anybody out. So don't be upset at me, because I usually...
Sean, I'm happy. Like if your audience has any questions at all, I am so happy to go back to this live and like go through and respond and answer people's questions.
Oh, you are awesome. That's where the kindness comes into play.
Well, go the extra mile, right? I mean, like, you know, the reason, you know, why there's the extra mile is always empty is because nobody goes the extra mile, you know.
Boom. Michelle, I can't thank you enough for your time. I so appreciate you. You know that. But if you don't know that now, you know.
I appreciate you, Sean. Sean, you are just such a light, and you're always the person that's there to help people, and you're always, you say yes, and you're there you help sideline teams, other people in our company, outside of our company, and I just know that is going to pay off so much for you.
Thank
you.
To
see the growth and to see who you are, like it makes me so happy. So love you, my friend.
Thank you again, Michelle. Have a really good day.
All right.
God
Bye,
bless.
everyone.
Bye.